Well, hello, nerds. Uh, Subscribers, friends, family, anybody that has decided to watch episode 3. Um, so yeah, welcome back to the Midgard Press. This is episode 3, just kind of going over the quick Dragonbane Quickstart. Here I have it right here in front of you. We've got now. Before I go any further, let me grab my backpack because I just got done running a session tonight, and I have to say, I love this game. I just do. But I love that art. You know, this art right here, what you see on the screen, I just love this art. Because if you remember the adventures and the rules book, it doesn't have much to it. You know, this, I wish they would really go into more detail for this screen or this image, this start of the book, because there's so much to it that you just don't even realize. Like, there's a person squaring off against this dragon, and this could be in the middle of a ruins, could be in the middle of a temple. Like, where is this? I want to know where this is. So Free League, if you're watching this, please give us this art. Tell us where it is because I want to know. Anyways, so the quick start is 45 pages. You can see that right here, 45 pages. This includes the quick start rules. That includes the introductory module called Ritter Mound. That's 2. And then it includes 10 pages of pre-gens because it's a 2-pager for the pre-gens. It's 5 pages for the front page where it gives you all your stats, your skills, your attributes, the whole 9. And then on the back of it, it gives you a visual image of the character, and then it gives a little bit of the backstory as well as their heroic abilities. So really, you've only got like 30 pages. 30 to 35. We'll figure this out of actual rules. Then you've got the adventurer, and then you've got the pre-gens. Now I'm looking at it over here, the actual rules book. The rules is 116 pages. The adventure book is 120. So between the two, you got over 200. You know, Dragonbane Quickstart was meant to get the nitty-gritty, the bare bones out to us, the pledgers, the backers, to the fans, so that way they can test it and see what it's all about. So let's go through here real quick. We're not going to take too long. This will be a quick video because nobody should be using the quick start rules anymore. Nobody should be using it. I just want to go through it to kind of give you an idea of what Free League was doing, what they said they were going to do by providing this to the players so that they could test it out and see if they liked it. I liked it. So the very first thing in the oldest times, and it goes and gives you a little bit to the story, an excerpt. But then it says, welcome to the quick start guide for the Dragonbane RPG. And it goes on to say that it is a condensed version of the game's core rules. Believe me, I know. Like I said, the rules booklet is 116 pages, and we've got 30 something. So a considerable amount is not here. But again, this is the nitty gritty. They just want you to jump in, test it out, and go from there. See if you like it. I loved it. I know I already said that, but I loved it. One of the favorite things I enjoy is where it says right here, to start playing. So it says, adventure awaits in the world of Dragonbane. All you need to do before playing the adventure Ritter Mound, which is included in this quick start, is the following. Decide who will be the GM. Well, whoever is the GM, you have now became the forever GM. Thankfully, on a side note, I'm very thankful for the group of friends that I have, because not only do I get to play in tons of just random one-shots for different TTRPGs, I can play in campaigns with my friends. Like, they run games all the time. I run an excessive amount of games, I promise you. I'm running at least 2 a week. Depending on what it is, of course. But I know there are GMs out there who are constantly stuck as the forever GM, and I feel bad, because with there being online games, you can run games through Roll20, Discord, through Owlbear Rodeo, Foundry. There's so many different ways to do it online. And of course, some people prefer in person. I don't blame you. In-person sessions are always better because you just get better reactions, just better reactions alone. But, for you forever GMs, just step outside the bounds. Get yourself out there and play a game. I will always forever be a GM. I just love running. I love being that storyteller. So, it is what it is. But it goes in to say the game master, the final player is the game master, or GM for short. The GM describes the world of Dragonbane to you, portrays the people you encounter on your treasure hunts, so-called non-player characters, NPCs, and controls the monsters lurking in the depths. I actually had somebody tell me I was the Dragon Master because it's Dragonbane, and GM is just a general reference for the Game Master. I thought that was actually kind of clever. So who knows? Maybe I will be the DM, the Dragon Master. So it goes into your player character. It speaks specifically saying that there are kins. There's 6 of them. There's human, halfling, dwarf, elf, mallard, and wolfkin. Mallard is a duck. For those of you that don't know what a mallard is, it's a duck. There's professions. There are 10 in total. We'll go over that another time. Your attributes: your strength, your constitution, your agility, your intelligence, your willpower, not wisdom, willpower, and charisma. There are mementos for your characters that kind of adds a little bonus to them. This goes into how you calculate your movement, your damage bonus, your hit points, your willpower. It tells you about the skills, motivation, encumbrance, and the gear. There is a measuring of time. So there's 3. There's a round, a stretch, and a shift. And it's pretty much, it's the same within final version, but we're not going to go into that. So measuring time, 10 seconds is a round, a stretch is 15 minutes, and a shift is 6 hours. You can only do 1 stretch per shift. You can only do 1 shift per day. That's very important to remember, because it's your short rest and long rest for those that play the D&D 5th edition. You can only do 1 short rest per long rest. You can only do 1 long rest per day. Now, some GMs might go out on a limb and say, sure, I'll let you get away with doing an extra one. That's up to the GM's preference. That's not up to me. That's up to them. So going down, it's going to tell you about arrows, sling stones, heavy items, tiny items, over encumbered, rolling the dice. Now, for those of you that are used to rolling a natural 20 and being like, yeah, it's no longer the player that enjoys a 20, a natural 20. It is the GM. Again, I told you, this is a roll under system. So you have to roll below the number that you're trying to hit on your sheet. So ones is what you want. Ones are what you want. I know, you heard me. Ones are what you want. Rolling a 1 is a dragon. Rolling a 20 is a demon. Now, the whole dragons and demons, that is the premise of Dragonbane. And as we get into the folklore, the history, the actual bare bones of the game, talking about that later on in another video. I have it written down. I've got a whole list of things I'm going to cover with you all. It's a very long list. But dragons are good, demons are bad. Just know that. Dragons are good, demons are bad. Boons and banes. Advantage and disadvantage. Boon means you roll at advantage. Bane means you're rolling at disadvantage. Now remember though, when you're rolling at boon or rolling at bane, you're still wanting to roll the lowest number possible to succeed. So if you're rolling at a boon and you get a 1 and a 2, 1 is what you want. If you're rolling at bane, you get a 5 and a 6. Obviously, you want the 5, but if you're rolling at bane, you get the 6. Plain and simple. It's just how it goes. Attribute rolls, that's going to be your 4d6. Drop the lowest. Opposed rolls. Now, there are these green boxes throughout the module, rulebook, and everything in between. And it basically tells you these are optional rules. Not every GM who plays Dragonbane is going to use this rule or that rule that are optional. You don't have to. You don't have to. Now, like this right here where it says the opposed rules and push rolls, that is a part of the core system. That is what you do. But optional rules in these green boxes, optional. So there's a thing over here for pushing your roll. I love this. I absolutely love this. If you don't like the success or failure, well, you wouldn't re-roll a success. You'd only re-roll a failure. But if you rolled, again, I always go back to acrobatics because it's the very first skill. If you are trying to jump over a puddle, you fail that roll. You can push your roll. And it allows you to re-roll, so you're rolling at a boon. Now, it doesn't mean you'll succeed, because again, the dice giveth, the dice taketh. So you could potentially fail that roll as well. But if you push the roll, you have to take the condition. You have to take the condition of what's connected to that roll. So if you're rolling in acrobatics, that is hang on. If you're rolling in acrobatics, that is connected to your agility. So if you push that roll, you now take the condition exhausted, because exhausted is connected to agility. Now, I know that can get a little confusing. We'll talk more about that on another time because, like I said, it's in the videos. It's in the works. One thing at a time, okay? One thing at a time. Combat and damage, you know, there's a lot that you can do in combat. What I want to say just initially is that initiative, this word right here, initiative, it changes every round. Okay, you can draw new cards, and that's the best part because it makes the situation dire. Tonight, for example, in my session, the player character went first on round 1. Bad guy. It was like a 3 and then a 7, whatever. Now, here's the problem, though. We rolled again for the next round. It went bad guy, player character. So player character attacks once. Then the bad guys attacked 4 times total before the player character could attack again. It makes the situation much more real, much more. Well, I guess you could say it just gives people anxiety. It could. So these are your actions that you can do within, within a turn. You got your dash, your melee action, ranged attack, your parry, dodge, take cover, which it's no longer called take cover, it's called evade. Again, this is the quick start version and not the actual final version, so some things will be different. But you pick up an item, you equipped, unequipped, there's a helmet, there's first aid, break down a door, pick lock, use item, activate ability, cast spell. Again, I'm not going to get into all this right now. There's free actions that you can do. It goes into a little bit more depth as far as melee combat, critical hits. Critical hits is awesome because there's 3 things that you can do. There's not just, oh, you do more damage. No, there's other things that you can do. But what I like about Dragonbane is it breaks down melee combat, which is within 2 meters within your close proximity, and ranged combat where there's at a distance, and I like that. Damage, it talks about your armor, how it can keep you alive, and then death rolls. I had 2 player characters die tonight. I'll have a video about. I have played how many sessions so far? I know I said this in another video. Including tonight, 9 sessions. I need to do at least a couple of videos on those just to give y'all a reference as to what the frick happened. Because I've had some people die. That's just how it goes, you know. Oh yeah, 0 HP for NPCs. If a NPC gets to 0, no death saves. They're done. This goes into more about the conditions. There's healing in this game. There's not a lot of healing, but there is some healing. There's other hazards. The fear table. The fear table. Yes. I'm not going to talk about the fear table right now, but there is a fear table. And then monsters. Where's it go? Monster attacks. No, that's not it. Speed. So in the quick start, it says speed, and the speed is how many times they can attack per round. Some monsters attack once, some monsters attack 3 times. It just depends on the type of monster, what their speed is. Now, in the actual final version, it's ferocity. It's how fierce they are. Where's the part that I really love? Oh yeah, monsters never roll dice to hit their target. Monsters' attacks automatically succeed. What? They succeed every time automatically. I love it. And plus, a monster attack can be dodged but not parried. So, anyways, I'm not going to go into that right now. We'll talk about it later. Just look at this giant spider, though. Look at that thing. It's gorgeous. So there's magic. In order to cast magic, you have to have willpower points. Now there's 3 bodies of magic. There's animalism, mentalism, and elementalism. There's not a lot of magic items because this is more of like a high fantasy type of genre instead of like the classic fantasy where anybody can cast magic. But magic's a whole nother thing. We're going to talk about that another time. We've got spells, and that's it. 25 pages. That's it. And then it goes into Ritter Mound, page 26. It tells you the situation, how you have your players, how you get them to where they need to go. There's random events tables. There's so many tables in this game. I love it. They seriously give you a layup every single time. And if a GM does not use it, you're missing out. I promise you, you're missing out. Because look, it says right here, for each stretch the characters spend in a room, roll the dice. I've had multiple things on here happen because they're in a room and they're like, okay, what should we do? And they spend in character or in person, they spend a couple minutes talking about it. Well, if they're talking about it for a couple moments in person, in character, that's a stretch for me. So it even gives you, like, if they're leaving the mound, like if your characters leave the mound to rest and heal outside of it, there's more things that could happen. What? But they break down the locations of the map. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They give you a description of the room so that you as the GM can read it out loud for your players. And then it gives you a short description of things that are important for that room specifically. One of the things I love about these maps, they have the north, south, east, west. It makes it so much easier when you're explaining it to the your players, because I forget to say, or in previous times, I should say, I would forget which way that they're going. And when I would tell them one time and tell them a different something else, they get confused, I get confused, and we just have to work it out. But this, I print the map out and say, okay, which way you're going. And it just creates a much easier time pushing them through the dungeon. But as you can see, the giant spider has a roll table that you roll on. Love it. Love it. Vampiric bats, a roll table. Grub is a little goblin. Grub has a interesting little situation. And like I said, it just gives you everything you need in here. They've got the lady, the Death Knight. They are actually married, but now in death, the lady watches over the Death Knight sarcophagus, their treasure, basically. And then that's the end of it. That's the end of it. So it gives you 9 pages of information to walk you through the Quick Start guide. It gives you everything you need. It gives you a map. It gives you the situation. How did they get there? It gives you random events for each room. It gives you random roll table for when they leave the mound. And then they give you a description of each room, a name for each room, and then what's in the room. What more as a GM could you ask for? They're giving you a layup. And then they give you the little quick start pre-gens. So, and we're not going to go into full detail about the pre-gens right now, but if you look at the skills, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skills for weapons. So they're your weapon skills. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for your core skills. Top left is just information about the character. Top right is your appearance. You've got your attributes. You've got your name, Archmaster Adion. Damage bonus modifiers, movement, inventory, tiny items, mementos, your how wealthy are you, copper, silver, gold, and it's the same as it is in 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. 10 copper equals 1 silver, 1 silver equals 1 gold. You've got magic schools, you got willpower, hit points, you got your weapons, and then you've got armor, helmet, and shield. Now, they take shield away in the final version. You can use a shield still within the final version, but it's more or less a helps you to parry or you can use it as a blunt object to deal damage. But yeah, they've got the Archmaster Aeon. We have Orla Moonsilver. We've got Makander of Half Bay. Every time I play this, or every time I run this game, somebody plays a Mallard every single time. Duck people are just cool. They just are. Mallards are awesome. Chrysania the Bold, a halfling. And then Baston Bloodjaw, the Wolfkin Hunter. And then right here, the very last page, or well, not the very last page, but 44 of 45, they give an actual player map. And I've been handing these out to players as we play the game. Like, like I said, I am a person who prints terrain for their games. And right now, I don't have any terrain printed because I'm still working on that. I'm actually putting that all together so I can, have a more visual representation. But with this, with the player maps, it at least gives the player a better idea of what's going on. And then, oh yeah, that was the very last page. So yeah, that's the quick start guide for Dragonbane. I know we ran through that pretty quickly, but they break it down within 25 pages of the rules, very condensed. Then they do about 10 pages of, or it's 9 pages of the Ritter Mound Adventure Guide. Gives you everything you need to just show your players a fun time. 10 pages of pre-gens because they got the front and the back. Again, the front is going to be your character sheet, your attributes, your name, your skills, your HP, all that good stuff. And then the back of it, it gives a description of the character. And I love that they do this. I'm all the pre-gens that I'm creating, I'm actually going to be doing this too. I'm not that good at drawing like they are. So Johan is, so I'll have to create something for that. But anyways, and then the very last page, they have the player guide for the player map for the players. So I really enjoyed the quick start. I used it once, and then I actually got the beta version of the rules. So I was using those from then on. I ran 3 games. No, I ran 2 games under the V2. I ran 2 games under the 3rd version. And then the rest of them I've been running on this final version. And the final version is just chef's kiss, I promise. So again, thank you all for hanging out with me. Stay tuned. There's going to be more. Subscribe wherever the button is, Make sure you are subscribed so that you know when the next video is coming out, because I got a list for you all. Like this video, share it with your friends, share it with your other nerds, and, just keep it easy. Live on and game on. See y'all.